Hello, my name is Adam, and I'm on a mission to be the most prolific reviewer of all time. So I'm reviewing books, movies, podcasts, everything. And last night I was at a bit of a loss to have something to watch, and I wanted to watch something good, so I found, the list of the 250 greatest movies or whatever on IMDb, and I watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly because that was the first one on the list that I hadn't seen. And oh my god, how do people consider this to be the best movie of all time? It's ridiculous. So, first of all, the movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. So, and it came out in 1965, I guess. So, a 2 hour and 40-minute movie in 1965, like, there should be an intermission. You should, like, walk around, stretch your legs out, but there's no intermission. Like, it's just ridiculous. And the 240-minute running time is not the main problem. The main problem is that the pacing is just so slow. The plot doesn't make a lot of sense, but there's this thing where these three guys know that this one guy buried $250,000 in gold coins, which is remarkable in the Civil War era. That's like. So, anyway, this Confederate soldier buried $250,000 in gold coins in this cemetery, right? And the plot is basically these three guys, the good, the bad, and the ugly, trying to find this money. And at the end of the film, they're actually in the cemetery, and this one guy, the ugly, Tuco, he has heard the name of the guy, and he's running around the cemetery trying to find. And it's like, it's actually quite. That part's quite good because they going to the cemetery are expecting like this small little cemetery, and of course it's the middle of the Civil War, so they get there. Well, this guy gets there, and there's just graves everywhere, like an overwhelming amount of graves, and you just see in his acting like, yeah, there's way too many graves for me to look through quickly. So the the thing that happens next is a good example of what I mean by its horrible pacing. So instead of using like a few shots to show that he is having some trouble, they actually show him running around the cemetery for about like 3 or 4 minutes, just going, and the camera spins around, and it's like, at this point in the movie, it's towards the end of the movie, I had fallen asleep a couple of times, and I'm like, are they really going to show him running around for 5 minutes? And yes, they really showed him running around for 5 minutes. So the acting is okay for this kind of movie, but it's a spaghetti western, so the English dialogue is dubbed, and it's really badly dubbed, actually. So that kind of takes you out of the movie a little bit, especially nowadays when you can have everything with subtitles. And I understand why they did it because it's a very sort of American film, and you want an American audience to be able to watch it, even though it's an Italian production. And the three main, and it's also weird because the three main actors, their dialogue is not dubbed. So Angel Eyes is the bad, and then you have Blondie the good, and Tuco the ugly. They all speak in their own natural voices. So like, why not just find people who could speak English? Or, like Tuco, he has an accent, right? He has like a Spanish accent because he's supposed to be some Mexican guy. So that makes sense. Why not do it that way? I don't know. And there are like really good things about the movie, like the way that the close-ups are shot is like really really interesting, and Some of the gunfights are really shot well, but it's just way, way too much, because there'll be like a 10-minute shot of one guy's face. Like, it won't be like of one guy's face, but there'll be a close up this way, close up this way, close up this way, close up this way, close up of the other guy, And then you'll have a 5-minute shot of the guy running around the cemetery. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, like cinematically, like what was the guy trying to say. And I think like maybe it's interesting because I think that this is just when Vietnam was starting to become known in the world. Um, so there is a bit of an anti-war message there, and both the North and the South are portrayed as like equally bad, although the North seems to be more bad because they're winning. So they have like a lot of corruption and opportunities for violence. So that part is okay, but the movie just drags and drags and drags, and it's like too clever by half. And I so this is the Quentin Tarantino says that this is the best movie of all time. And you can kind of understand, which on the one hand doesn't make any sense at all, and on the other hand makes perfect sense. So Quentin Tarantino is known for great editing, great music, great pacing of his movies generally. So you watch a Quentin Tarantino movie and you're being taken on a journey, which other directors don't do nowadays. He's like one of the last directors who has like this very personal touch and personal experience. So I could see why, just from the editing and the cinematography, why Quentin Tarantino loves this movie. But this movie is actually the antithesis of a Quentin Tarantino movie because it's not well paced. It's horribly clunky and badly timed. So I think maybe the reputation of this movie. So when it came out, people were like, "Oh, it's a horrible movie," and then it was kind of redeemed as sort of this cult classic. And then Tarantino said it's the best movie of all time, and then people were like, "Oh, he's a good director, so that must be true." But I don't think that it's certainly one of the most interesting movies of all time. But I wouldn't put it in like the top 10 movies of all time for me. I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, it's very subjective what you think the best movies are. And I think for me, I would separate like into two categories. The movies where they use the cinematic art to tell the story in the best possible way, and then movies that I just personally like for my own reasons, like The Blues Brothers would be the second one. I wouldn't say that it's the best movie ever. Well, for me, maybe it is one of the best movies ever, but it doesn't. And I mean, in the first part, yeah, there are great cinematic moments in that movie, of course. You know which one I'm talking about, the epic car chase. But, you know, other movies would be much better in the first regard, like Psycho, for example, or Citizen Kane. Yeah, so anyway, what did you think about this movie? Do you think that it's really one of the best movies of all time? Let me know in the comments. Thank you. Bye bye.